has these unbelievable skills to do things like that.
You will go places with guys that you think are assholes if you know that you have an opportunity to win.
And these guys are in the grass, mad. She's just head down. I'm here to win. Money motivates me. I'm wiping somebody out for $1 million. Welcome to Kevin Harvick's Happy Hour, presented by NASCAR on Fox. And I've got Kaitlyn Vincie. And we don't know who this guy is. He's got a soul patch and a clean-shaven face.
He's
clean head of hair.
Glowing skin.
You know what?
Which we found out.
You know what that is? You know what that is?
Yeah.
That's what happens when you become a winner.
Oh.
When you become a winner, you just have that new
swagger,
a little bit more of a jump to your step. You know, everything's feeling good, looking good. Ooh, I love winning.
You know what?
What?
This guy sends me a text yesterday. He says, "Hey, I'm up on your end of the lake. You guys home today?" Well, yeah, we're home. It's Sunday fun day.
That's right.
So we're home. And then he proceeds to come over and make videos
He just
all day.
showed up at your house?
Well, he sent me the address.
Okay.
I mean, he's always invited, but
That's nice.
Listen, I made one video holding the torch and lighting the torch like you were in the Olympics. And maybe I used the Olympic theme song on it. And it was pretty great.
It was cute.
You also bragged
What?
about your success in your pick.
Well, yeah, because so here's the thing, America and Kaitlyn.
America, we're not just America.
He was inside for the last 2 laps. He had watched the whole race outside with us.
Yeah.
Now the last 2 laps, my guy's about to win and he's inside. Where's Kev at? Oh,
Yes, he didn't
what
want
a
to be around
coincidence.
you,
He didn't want to be out
probably.
here. Okay, I see how it is.
I was cleaning stuff up. I knew the race was over, so I went and started cleaning everything up.
Well, I mean, after Delana did all the cooking and G did all the cooking, you had to do
That's
something.
a bunch of shit.
I'm trying to get brownie points
Yeah.
when I go back over.
This sounds like a fun party. What'd you have? Just a casual
No,
Sunday?
it's just a normal Sunday.
Oh, okay.
He got a little insight into what happens on Sundays, how we watch the race.
Mhm. It's actually
different.
It's different and it is fun.
It's by the pool.
Yeah, by the pool, by the lake.
On the lake.
Yeah, on the lake. The whole Joe Ryan Racing team was there. The Hornaday development team was there. What was there like?
Hornaday was there.
Hornaday himself was there.
Yeah. This is
He was telling me
big
some
to do
stories.
at the Harvick household.
Well,
I like that.
it's good
Everybody
times.
working on their tans.
That's
I
right.
mean, they're trying to catch up to me. I told them they should quit.
They should just quit while they're still ahead. Yeah. Good for you, though, because Kevin has been giving us a pretty significant amount of flack on our picks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now that's finally.
My pick wiped himself out in qualifying, but still
Yeah.
ran fast.
He came
still
all the way
got some
back, too.
points.
I got some points.
He did this thing called passing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to the front.
We didn't see a lot of that on the weekend.
And he was able to do it. So
Yeah.
There you
But
go.
he did.
Well, welcome in, everybody, to a new edition of Happy Hour. We have plenty to discuss leaving Pocono, the Tricky Triangle. We'll preview Atlanta coming up this weekend. And, of course, you have your sips,
We got the
as
sips.
always.
You know, Harvick Happy Pod, all the closers. Keep hollering at your boy. Appreciate you guys. They're running strong this year.
They are.
They are. You guys are really
Closers
Yeah.
are
they're
alive and
really
well.
locked in.
I went to the grocery
Like
store
it.
this weekend and man, there's a lot of people that watch. I had no idea.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Would
Yeah.
they stop you in the produce section
yeah.
or what?
Yeah, a couple times.
Oh.
I learned not to go to the store on Saturday.
Have
Well,
to do that for your Sunday.
Yeah, well,
Funday.
he's back. He's back in like the mecca of
The
race
hub.
culture. Yeah, of race
Oh,
culture.
true,
Right, so
yes,
he did live
yes.
in South Charlotte, where like
Little removed.
probably people wouldn't like just come up to you and say something, but
Yeah.
everybody up around the lake, they're excited.
Yeah.
You'll have to have someone else do your shopping for you, maybe.
He can't
No.
DoorDash.
Incognito.
No,
No.
I like to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, Delaney and I like to go do that together
Yourself.
because
Oh,
it's
that's
just you wind up getting all the stuff that you need and then a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's cute.
we were cooking, so we had to get the stuff.
Nice look into the
The,
household.
the food was good. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did
the
you like
favorite.
the elk or the ground beef?
I like the elk better.
Yeah.
You made elk? That's
We
cool.
did. Yeah, we had.
You shot it yourself?
No,
I'm
Keelan
assuming.
Keelan shot it.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Keelan did it.
So
this is
everybody likes the ground elk better than the ground beef. It's a lot better.
It just
When you
flavorful.
when you cook it, like you cook the ground beef and then you cook the elk side by side, the one pan fills up with grease. The other one you don't even drain.
Yeah. Oh,
that's
really?
how much leaner it is.
Interesting.
It was
Yeah.
good. It was
It's
better.
way better.
Sounds like a fun party with good food items, I might add.
It was.
You were busy, though, over the weekend because you called the truck race.
I did.
Nice job, by the way.
Yes,
How was
thanks.
it?
It was good. I called the truck race with Jamie and Michael. We had a good race. Lane Riggs obviously won the race. A little bit of controversy at the end. Hocevar didn't really know the restart rules and got black flagged when Corey Heim found another way
to lose a race.
To lose a
you
race.
guys had
and
just
it's
said
not
it.
like he didn't find another way. Another bad circumstance
Yes.
haunts them to lose a race is a better way to put it. But he's by far the fastest truck and the best team. It's just they have it is unbelievable how bad of luck Corey Heim has. But Lane Riggs finally broke through. They've been knocking on the door, but that truck's been fast all year. And I think having that confidence to be able to get to victory lane kind of pushes them forward to be a contender now.
Yeah, he told me, he said that they were the fastest truck all year yet to win. Well, that's and he didn't hurt his arm.
He didn't.
Process.
Yeah.
That's a positive.
When he got out, he's like, "Ooh, not like that was hard." I love that for Lane. And honestly, when guys like Lane win, it just shows that what we're doing in the Cars Tour and late model stock racing, those guys are racing so hard and getting so much experience. They can jump levels and make it.
Yeah.
And maybe we can find the Lane Riggs victory celebration that went wrong because
if you don't remember, it's pretty epic.
Him throwing his shoulder out on top of that truck and having to get off the truck and his team popping it back in. And my favorite part about that celebration was like they pop his shoulder and everybody's looking at him like,
oh God.
And then he's like, I'm good.
All is well. Yeah. What a true competitor there. Speaking of Cars Tour, though, you have your round 2 coming up.
We do. Yeah, we're going to Monroe, Washington this weekend, Saturday night. So it's just north of Seattle. Been a long time since I've been there. And as my young, smart-ass son reminded me, I went to Monroe, Washington in the late 90s, which is in a different last century. So the last time I went there was the last century.
He got you.
Yeah,
okay.
He got me, and also ended my our family truck racing career when Walker Evans spun me out and totaled my truck. That was the end of our first truck. Still have it actually though.
Do you? That's one of the ones in the shop.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
We restored that one.
Yeah.
Because it was salvage junk.
Can't race it.
No.
We look forward to that. Hope it goes well for you guys this weekend. Okay, let's talk about Pocono and everything that happened over the course of the weekend on the Cup Series side of things. Chase Briscoe, this was very impressive, had won a stage, was able to play this whole fuel strategy correctly. And it's big, right, when you win with a new organization.
It is. And I think for Chase and his crew chief, James, this needed to happen. I mean, there's a lot of pressure on these guys to go out and do exactly what they did this weekend, and that's win races. They played the strategy right and put themselves in the front of the pack to be able to conserve fuel. And the Pocono is one of those racetracks where you can back the pace up, and they're going to have a tough time passing you, being able to aero block and do the things that you need to do. So they did a great job calling the race, saving fuel, and I think for this 19 team, that is the moment that they needed to just push that block over to get to victory lane. And I think this takes a lot of pressure off of them and boosts that confidence to the point of being able to put themselves into victory lane is the case in today's world. So now it's a reality, and I think that's important for those guys to know.
Yeah, I mean, hey, who would have thought? Who would have thought that Chase Briscoe in the 19 team?
Somebody thought.
I cannot believe it. But the thing about this win that I like, or that we don't talk about maybe enough, is because everyone's always talking about the passing or like aero blocking or whatever you may have on that end. But how about Chase not slipping one time?
Yeah,
he has Denny Hamlin, arguably the best at Pocono to ever do it. On his heels, he's got Ryan Blaney, NASCAR Cup Series champion. On his heels, they're both right there. And they're trying to apply enough pressure to make Chase speed up his mechanics and everything that he's doing. And he didn't. He stayed locked in. And I wish that we would talk more about what he did to keep those guys behind him as far as from inside the driver's seat than like, oh, well, he's aero blocking, so obviously he's not going to be able to pass that.
And that's not anything different that's happened at Pocono in the old car or the new car. Now, in the new car, it's exaggerated. Yeah. But Pocono has always been exactly what you just witnessed as far as strategy and fuel mileage and all the things that happened in this race. So to me, it looked just like a normal Pocono race.
Is that because of the straightaway? Is that because the straightaways are so long, and like if you mess up any of the corners, Like you can't gain.
Well, I think it's back. You look at turn 3 and it's a super fast long corner. It's not like you're going to Loudon where the corners you're going slower and sharper and you have options. I mean, it's the aero disadvantage from being in second is just way up because speed's a lot faster. So, I think it's just and then you go through the tunnel turn and it's one groove and you don't really have any choices there. Being the second car, you're just going to be at a disadvantage. And in turn 1, you have some options, but that's a typical Pocono race.
Good for Chase Briscoe being able to capitalize there with a win. Denny Hamlin, as you mentioned, putting pressure on him. How important do you think it was for him to come out and have a good showing? He missed last week's race at Mexico City for the birth of his son, but a good performance out of the 11. Not
so what
surprising.
Would we call that?
Not redemption really at all.
Would we call that maternity leave or would we call that
paternal leave, right?
Paternity leave.
Yeah,
paternity leave. Okay.
Yeah. That's probably about right.
So, that might be a first.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone had.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. But I think for him to come back, I think he knew that, he needed to make a statement. And I think he was also coming back to a track that he's very confident in.
It's kind of all worked out.
Yeah. So, after his paternal leave and week off in Mexico, I think he did exactly what everybody thought he was going to do, and that was qualify on the pole and be a contender as he went through the race. But I think it's definitely the 11 is definitely hitting on all cylinders, and I think as you go through the rest of the year, you're gonna have to deal with them.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at where JGR is now, they have 3 guys locked in. We've seen some speed as of late from Ty Gibbs.
For sure.
So I think that's kind of why I picked Briscoe is because, I looked at it and I was like, Denny's been really good here. They're going to be good. Who's somebody else that might be able to snake one that's been coming up with speed? And the 19 was that for me. And I just think that Denny's going to be there all year, and then we'll see. We'll see when the playoffs go. It's just like, what do you...
That leave should be paid, right? I mean, it should be paid leave.
Yeah, it's
typically the law, right?
Yeah, that's how that works.
Yeah, you would hope.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we'll have to see how Denny can keep the momentum rolling into this weekend. We talked once before on the show about having a big save of the show, of happy hour. I think we might want to hand it out to Carson Hocevar.
This one takes the cake.
Right?
Oh, not even close. This save by Carson Hocevar, this is why everybody keeps him around. Right? This is the ability that Hocevar has. And I know that, that the tail just touched the wall right there. But I mean, this is why everybody tolerates the rest of it. Because he has these unbelievable skills inside that race car to do things like that. And now if the wall isn't there, but you can say if the wall isn't there, he spins out. But either way, I mean, look how long that thing was sideways and he had that thing back under control and going straight. I think he only lost 2 spots.
If the wall isn't there, he's not getting loose because he's not trying to keep it off the wall.
Yeah.
He's using more of the racetrack anyway. So that is you can't teach that.
No.
You can't. There's a level of which you cannot teach, and you can't teach that.
He has this unbelievable skill. He's extremely talented and can do everything that it takes inside of that race car. It's going to be the things outside of the race car that if he doesn't get those things under control, they'll continue to haunt him. And he's he's still having to deal with the Hocevar or the Stenhouse piece of it. And that was all they asked about in the media session for both of those guys. And that those are the things that just distract the team just week after week after week after week. But like I say, that's why they tolerate it.
You mentioned the outside distractions. Ricky Stenhouse saying, I'm tired of giving the kid any publicity anyway. I don't know how it's going to play itself out, but it will. Also, worth noting that Spire fined Carson $50,000 for a mandatory sensitive training and a disciplinary fine for his comments he made about Mexico being not a great place to be. So those things never helpful off track when you're dealing with that as well.
They aren't. And I think I've told this story on here before, but that was one of the biggest things that I had to convince, Rodney Childers that I wasn't going to do was have all these outside distractions, because when you're having to answer those questions, then, your team owner and your GM and your crew chief, and then your crew guys start to chatter, and then you get this reputation that goes along with being a pain in the ass, and then you can't get this guy hired when the problem comes into effect is when you have an opening or you need to make a change at your lead engineer or your backup engineer or your crew chief or your tire changer, and it's people want to be a part of what Hocevar is doing if he can drive like that. But when you have the distractions every single week and it just being a new person, and it's you listen to the reactions on the radio, it's just like the truck race and him not being the control truck and not understanding the rules, but still, ripping everybody, wanting to challenge them and NASCAR and not agreeing with it or whatever it is. It's just one thing after another.
Yeah.
It's just week after week after week. And at some point then it's like, well, I don't want to deal with it anymore. I don't want the distractions, whether it's the crew guys or the shop guys. And then that chatter starts to go in the shop. So definitely something that he has to get under control or he'll never get to take that potential as a driver and use that to be a champion because of all the other distractions. And he has the ability to be a champion, pure ability.
Yeah.
But cup racing pure ability is not all that goes with it. There are politics, there are sponsors, there are all these things that go, I call it the circle of life. If you don't have your circle of life in balance, you're not winning cup races because there's too many things that go with it. And, Xfinity and trucks, you can get away with saying whatever you want because the magnitude of criticism that you're going to get is just not that great compared to what it is in cup. And in cup, they're going to expose it until it breaks you or you stop.
The winning cup races is so wildly hard. There was guys at SHR that came over with Rodney and with Kevin that had come from different organizations that have never won before. And Tony's talked about it, like when he won the All-Star race with SHR, he was like, yeah, but there was people crying because they had never won. So I say that to say you will go places with guys that you think are assholes if you know that you have an opportunity to win. But you're like, man, this guy's hard. But he's hard to work with, but he's going to win us races, give me a chance to win a championship. But there's a level to which if they're hard to deal with outside of the racetrack, I don't know how much the guys talk. They might not want to deal with that. Like they don't want to bring that home to their families. Like, so to Kevin's point, it's really important to have your stuff together. So when you need to go get that guy or that girl, that engineer, whoever it is, to come a part of your team and make it better, that they don't mind coming over.
Well, and it goes right to the sponsors too, right? Like when you look at, you can say there was things that happened that weren't right in Mexico, right? But the overall view of where that could take you, from a sports standpoint with more sponsorship, more eyeballs, international, whatever it is, you could point out a lot more positives about Mexico City than you could negatives, in my opinion, as far as, do you want to be a superstar? Everybody, all of them want to talk about, they're not as big of stars as they used to be. Well, guess what, boys and girls? If you're going to be a superstar, you're going to have to build your brand. And sometimes you're going to have to do it, and you're going to have to do things that you might not like. And now, with the comments about Mexico City, well, why would anybody in Mexico City or has anything to do with Mexico City want to support a guy that talked trash about everything about it, right? And so, now you're making it difficult for the marketing department.
Right.
And, let's not forget, you've never been to Victory Lane in a cup car.
A lot of layers to this.
There's a lot of layers.
Things you got to manage.
But the kid
correctly.
has
immense
all
talent.
the talent that you need if he can just get the rest of it straightened out.
The talent is definitely the undeniable part when it comes to Carson Hocevar. So back to Pocono. I want to talk about the brake issues we started to see for 2311. First started with Riley Herbst, then Bubba Wallace, then Tyler Reddick's team was proactive, bringing their car into the garage to try and make repairs. Level of concern for the team having something like that
It was obviously a bad decision somewhere along the line with the braking system because nobody else that I know of
the 71 was Spy McDowell.
Okay, 71 had an issue. So, but obviously there's a decision that was made there that was pretty consistent with their team. So I think internally, I think they need to be concerned with the decision that they made and probably have a pretty good idea of how to diagnose that with probably what they had compared to what they compare with in their Toyota family at JGR. And I'd say that they'll probably be able to diagnose that pretty quick. I would say that there are some concerns about the 2311 speed in general. I don't think Reddick has been as fast. I think Bubba started really well and has been kind of average, I'd say, in a lot of the most recent weeks. So I think that to me, the speed part from the 45 car is concerning to me. I think that he's done a good job with his experience in keeping the cars in races and getting decent finishes out of it. But that overall raw speed I haven't seen it from either one of them in several weeks.
Yeah, we talked about it last week. We were worried, a little bit worried about the 45. This week didn't really change that. I don't think. I think that the brake situation, correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin, but brakes at Pocono and brakes at Indy, are they more on the similar platform of how you use them?
You're going to use more. You're going to use more brake into turn one.
Yeah.
You're going to use more brakes into turn one at Pocono than you probably will at Indy.
Yeah. Okay.
But the problem with these styles of racetracks, when you have that heavy braking zone and then you have these super long straightaways of cooling,
they ice them over.
The temperature change is so drastic and it winds up cracking those rotors sometimes. So. Yeah. I mean, there's definitely a team decision. It's not a coincidence that all three cars broke the same part.
Yeah.
Definitely not a coincidence. We'll have to see how they go through diagnosing.
And they figured out how to fix. They knew exactly how to fix it, right? Or not exactly, but they
with Reddick.
Yeah, with Reddick, they obviously knew kind of what they needed to do to fix it.
Yeah.
So.
All right, I want to talk about another team that was showing a lot of strength, which was Brad Keselowski. A couple different issues for them. Pitting when pit road was closed was the start of the issues, having to serve a penalty there, of course.
Yeah, to me, this is just a failure on everybody's part. Right? Yeah, I mean, you can blame it on the spotter, you can blame it on the driver, you can blame it on the crew chief, whoever you want to blame it on, just take your choice.
We all took an L on that one together.
Yeah. Big L on that. Now, this other one is interesting because Brad had wanted to stay out longer on the strategy here and had asked for another lap when Jeremy Bullins had called him in initially. Yep. And that ended up biting them because the caution came out when SVG spun. So, I mean, Jeremy Bullins, the situation he's in, it's his driver, also the team owner. Is that a hard balance when the driver's like, hey, no, I want this instead. I want to stay out for one more lap.
Yeah, and I think this is, and I've had to learn this lesson and go down this road before too. When you want to become overly involved from the driver's seat into the strategy, and you don't know all the calculations and numbers, but yeah, I think that's an error on Brad's part to get involved in that and definitely hurt them in this particular situation. But as I went through the last 10 years of my career, I never got involved in the strategy at all. Don't have the computers, don't have anything to go along with what is happening. So, that's a tough scenario when you have the driver and the owner driving the car. But in the end, it took them out of contention this week. So you never know how they'll take it from here.
Yeah, that one really hurts because obviously the other two cars, Priest and Buscher, pretty strong, pretty respectable all year. Brad has had very minimal moments of this where he was up front and they had a really good car. So it's like really just salt in the wound when you do it to yourself.
And I think this is where when you talk about my generation of guys, and you say, okay, what has changed with how today's NASCAR world works? Driver needs to butt out. Driver needs to butt out of the strategy. Once you buckle into the car, you're the driver if you want to get the most success out of it, in my opinion.
Let people do their job. That's why you hired them.
Yeah,
right. Trusting.
It's just you can't do them both.
Yep. Okay, so we mentioned the pit road incident there for Brad Keselowski. Another very scary incident happening involving SVG's pit crew and AJ Allmendinger during the stops. The tire carrier for AJ. This is just unbelievable.
Wild.
JP Keeley is the man there on his knees. Apparently, was still able to finish the day, but this could have been a lot worse.
It was ugly when we had to watch it a couple times while we were sitting there. But I mean, that thing just blasted him right in the head. Wow!
I mean, these they weigh about, so they used to weigh like 70, right? Now
I'm glad
like
it's a
50.
new wheels and tires.
Unreal. Like these guys are so. whether it's our drivers, the mechanics, the pit crew guys, the people that make this thing go are so tough.
Yes, they are.
Whether it's physically or mentally, emotionally, like I don't really think people can understand. Like I think he's okay, but that he's getting looked at and everything. But like,
this is why NASCAR cracks down on the types of helmets that you have, the fire suits, the fireproof underwear that you wear, the mandate on gloves and shoes and all the things that NASCAR mandates. It's not for every pit stop. It's literally for these moments.
Right.
And that's what I tell a lot of the young drivers. You're not prepping for everyday use. You're prepping for the one moment when you need it.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why you don't ever get in the car. You always have a routine of how you put your belts on, how tight you wear them, how you sit in the seat, being picky with your seat. Same with the pit crew guys. You put that stuff on for a reason. And these are the moments so you don't kill yourself when a tire's hitting you in the face, coming at you full speed. So this is why NASCAR has done just an absolutely wonderful job since 2001 in just every year evaluate. What do we need to do better? Well, okay, we have a moment. We went to Pocono one year. Casey Kane spun out, knocked a bunch of people over, and now there's no kids on pit road anymore. Yeah, do guys like me not like it because my kids didn't get to keep, being a part of Dad's every day? But I get it. Right? Like there are some things that you just have to adapt and adjust. And NASCAR has done just an unbelievable job on the safety side since 2001.
Yes.
And continue to every year.
Great to see, though, that everyone was okay. Seemingly we'll continue to follow that story with JP to make sure he'll be at the track this weekend. I want to give some props to a couple people, though. Once again, John Hunter Nemechek. I don't know how much we'll be talking about him once the playoffs begin, but 2 weeks in a row, we've seen some
I think you got to do it. I think you got to give it to that legacy team.
Yep.
I think in general, they've had more speed lately. And I was looking at the point standings, and Eric Jones popped up there in 18th or 19th.
That's right.
And
minus 62.
I was like, where did he come from? But John Hunter has been fast on several occasions in several of these races lately. So they have definitely stepped up the performance of the 42 and the 43.
Yeah, I mean, like hats off to Legacy, right? They look like they were well out of their depth last year. And this year, it's you just need some time and to maybe filter out some people and bring in some other people and get the right culture together. Because without the right culture, you're not going to be able to create any speed anyway. And now that they kind of got that, I think T-Mac's over there, they're doing a lot of good things. And John Hunter, he's good enough to win in the Cup Series. He is. He's won at every other level that he's ever raced in. And now he's starting to be able to show that. And I like seeing the 42 up front. I got to be honest.
It's good to see that. As you mentioned, we know a lot of key personnel changes were made to that organization in the offseason. Seems like it's paying off. Chris Buescher, once again, a name we keep seeing in that top group as well. Currently above the cut line, 38 to the good. Do you think that if he continues what he's doing, he could be a driver that could just point his way in?
No.
I
mean, he could.
Needs to win.
But I think and I heard them talk about this. I think that they know that they're in the need to win category because of the fact of if we get 2 more winners, you're not catching the other 2 guys, Chase Elliott and whoever the second one is.
Chase Elliott and Tyler Reddick.
Yeah. Okay. So those guys are, they're hundreds.
Over 100.
They're hundreds of points ahead. So you got to look at those are your 2 points guys. And then you've got those other spots there. And I think if you're Buescher, I think that you got to go with the I need to win mentality, because if we're going to Atlanta this weekend, we could have a clearer picture on somebody who hasn't been in the picture to win, go out and win this weekend. And then you got to go to Daytona, and then you've got road courses. Cool. So, you're looking at the Allmendingers, the McDowells.
Yeah.
You've got
Priest, you've got Ricky Stenhouse.
You've got Stenhouse. So to me, those that 15th and 16th currently, I think you have to look at those spots as must win because of the scenario that you're in with the types of racetracks that are left and just those guys that could reach out. Brad Keselowski.
Yep.
I mean, he could go
Kyle
to
Busch?
He could go to Atlanta. Kyle Busch. I mean, those two guys are veterans that can just pop up at any moment and have a day because they know how to do it.
So that makes it very interesting because we have 9 to go, and technically, if we are keeping Elliott and Reddick because they're 100+ in the points, there's only 3 spots then left.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's how I look at it.
Yeah, and there's 3 spots left, and there's 4 wild card races basically.
Yeah.
And so if I'm in the bottom whatever, I am
bottom whatever.
The bottom part of it, I am nervous because now I give Busher credit. He got out of that car. He's like, we're in must-win mode. Like he already knows. Him and that team know what level and what time it is. It's playoff time right now. It's weird because I look at Busher and I'm like, he's like a perennial winner that doesn't win every year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're good enough and you expect them to win every year. And like sometimes it just doesn't really come together, but they're there enough to where you would think that you look at his stats, you're like, he only has 7 wins. Like, how does he only have 7 wins? Like, I see him battling up there more than that. So it's go time, man.
Yep.
It's time to get.
That it is. That is go time for sure. That was everything that happened on the Cup Series side for Pocono. Want to give a mention to Dale Earnhardt Jr. as his debut as a crew chief with
big-time crew chief winner.
He was able to get it done. The Marty Lindley obviously was suspended 1 week for the issue of the lug nuts, but here he is, Dale Jr. getting winning owner, driver, crew chief.
It's bring your kids to victory lane day.
Listen.
There you go.
I think you'll understand that when I say this. Like when you move away from the competition side of the sport, it is hard to keep that, like, what gets you, like, it's not, when you're doing this, like, I love our job and what we get to do, but we're not competing against, like, the same way. You don't compete the same way that you do when you're on the team. Yeah. And Dale really said that a lot, and I really appreciated what he said, which was like, as an owner, man, I'm not really in the mix that much. And this week, this was fun. He enjoyed being hands-on and in the mix. And I really get that because, like, I like to play basketball and stuff just to try to get a little bit of that competitive nature back.
Well, the unique part about Dale Jr. is he just has a huge passion for everything about racing. Mm-hmm. He likes to know about it. He likes to be involved in it. He'll step in and be the crew chief. He'll step in and run Cars Tour races, Xfinity races.
Sounds like someone else we know.
I know, but there are just not a lot of people that have the same passion that I do about racing.
Yeah.
And Dale is one of those people that has that same passion about racing, right? He lives his life around racing and has lived his life around racing since he was born. And that's what my family does. That's what his family does. And that's how you live your life. And there's just not a lot of people, especially once they get out of the car, that want to continue that passion in the way that he has. And I like that.
So maybe we'll see Kevin as a crew chief filling in. Can we make that happen?
Well, we got to get a team. We got to get a team.
Got to have a team first.
We got to have a team first.
That's right.
Once we get a team, we can work on that.
That's right.
It's true. Okay. All right, guys. Moving on now to Atlanta this weekend. The Cup Series obviously is headed there. This is interesting, and you can explain it more because our friend here is going to be a part of the TNT broadcast team for the next 5 weeks. There's going to be head-to-head matchups going on over this 5-race challenge. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so over the last 3 races, the field was set. The best 32 out of the last 3 races are now been seeded, 1 through 32. Okay. They're head-to-heads. They're races within the race. They're battling for $1 million, which if you add the All-Star race, this, and then the DAP program, that's like a total of $4 million extra that your accountant wasn't looking forward to you being able to have. So that's
nice.
You know, you do some stuff, you can win some good money. So looking at these matchups, right, especially for this first one, Atlanta, which I love that the first one is basically a wild card race.
And you can definitely tell who's been running good and who's been running bad.
So
that's what I like about the rankings.
Interestingly enough, you know exactly where everybody is over the last 3 weeks by the rankings. So I got 2 that I'm very intrigued about. The number 4 is Christopher Bell. He's going up against number 29, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Ooh. That is a tough pull.
It will be for Atlanta,
For Atlanta, Ricky Stenhouse these are his wheelhouse races. And Christopher Bell is that we know that he's a great driver and a great team. Another hard one, Ryan Blaney and Carson Hocevar. Ryan is consistently like up in the top 7, top 5 area, but Hocevar is also consistent.
I mean, he was in contention to win all the way to the caution.
Right.
At the first one.
So there's those two. And then the third one that I'm most intrigued about is the Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick.
Yeah.
Because
it
could kind of go either way.
It could
like
at this place.
Too bad they're not going to Miami.
And I think that, I think that over the last, really since Indy, I would put Larson kind of in that same category as Reddick as far as performance goes. Had some decent finishes, had some disasters, but hadn't had the same type of speed that they had at the beginning of the year with the places that we've gone. So it'll be interesting to see. I really thought that Larson might rebound this weekend at Pocono, but never. I mean, he didn't qualify good and just kind of got a decent finish.
What's interesting is it's on the backside of our page, but Alex Bowman is ranked 8th. Which I think is a lot higher than most people would have them ranked when you look at it. And
especially who he's against.
He's against Logano, right?
25th.
Who's 25th.
Yeah.
Joey, though, at Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, it's in their wheelhouse.
It's in their, so it's
with what fits their car. I mean, they were awful at Pocono.
I love this. This is different.
This is interesting.
Every other sport, like, it doesn't work like this to where, like, the venue might, affect so much of what's going on, but it really does. I think that's going to make this bracket challenge so cool this year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it'll be fun.
That'll be fun. Cool initiative with NASCAR and TNT to do something a little different. What's the main things you're watching this weekend as we head into Atlanta, Kevin?
I think the main thing I'm watching is to see how Mamba does on this broadcast. I just...
He doesn't know what he's doing yet.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't know what he's doing, but he doesn't know what he's doing anyway. So.
Yeah. We're just out here like a baby bird, just winging it.
He's just there to wing it.
Just winging it like a baby bird.
He's going to wing it. So that's my... that's the most important thing that I'm looking for this weekend.
Okay.
We're changing the channel.
Yeah, changing the channel.
Wait, that's not it. We haven't been on a channel.
Yep, we're going
We've
back
been
to
on a platform, right?
TV.
Or what?
We're going back to the channels.
Back to the channels.
Yeah.
So we're back. What channel are we on?
It's on TNT.
On
and
TNT.
then there's the alt on True TV. The alt broadcast.
There's an alternate broadcast.
Okay.
So
is that like the Manning?
Kind of like Manning
Larry
cast type deal?
McReynolds and Jeff Burton.
Yep.
Oh.
So I'll be helping with both, and then Bleacher Report.
Wait, you're going to help with both broadcasts?
Yeah. We're not exactly sure exactly how it's going to fit together, but
when do we think we're going to get all this figured out?
You'll see it when you see it.
Okay. We're going to figure it out this week?
Yeah. Oh, it'll be figured out this week because it has to. We're live, baby, this
week.
We're
live in Atlanta.
Yeah, we're going live in like 5 days.
Yeah. So we'll
and not to mention, you got a short week. So we're going Saturday.
Yeah, that's right. It is a Saturday night race.
We're going Saturday.
Short week. So Saturday night in Atlanta. No, sorry. What do we call it? Echo Park Speedway.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to give you guys a little advice. The only people that can screw up this broadcast are you guys. Because this is going to be one of the most exciting races that you have all year. And you almost can't screw Atlanta up.
It really can't.
You folks better get your shit together quickly.
Listen, we're gonna be
because the race is gonna be good.
We're gonna be gassed up.
We're
gonna
be
gassed up.
Regardless.
I ain't scared. You know.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait, Kevin, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Oh boy.
You've never been in a bracket like this. If you were in a bracket like this, head to head.
I've been in a bracket like this in wrestling tournaments.
Oh. Okay. I don't know how to go. I don't know how to segue from there.
It just totally messed you up.
Yeah. So would you? So for $1 million, 1v1, like whoever beats each other, this isn't a championship. This is $1 million cash. Would you? You know?
Are you really going to ask me this?
Would you wreck somebody for $1 million?
Money motivates me. So
would you wreck somebody for $1 million?
So yes, I'm wiping somebody out for $1
million.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll have to see who else has that same mentality.
Somebody's gonna have that mentality. I promise you.
Yeah. All right.
If you had to pick one guy to go against for $1 million, who would it be?
For me?
Yeah.
Like in the day?
Yeah, any day.
It was Kyle Busch, easy.
Oh, because that's easy. That's the easy one for him to want to rack. For him to rack.
Yeah, I mean, that would have just been intriguing.
Yeah. Okay.
For everybody.
Okay. Well, intriguing Atlanta will be. Is there anyone you have identified that you believe really needs to get things moving in the right direction that has run well there in the past?
Yeah. I think this is another opportunity for Brad Keselowski. I think that he's going to be probably in the mix this week. The Fords are going to be going to be strong. We know that the Hendrick cars have shown that they can run well at this particular track, because it's a balance. You've got to have speed. You've got to be able to be pushed. You've got to be able to push a little bit. But you've got to have that handling. It's going to be hot. And when you have hot mixed into everything that goes in at Atlanta, it really adds another layer to how much downforce do I put in my car based on knowing that I need some speed. So, I think that there is going to be a handling piece that comes into play for Atlanta. Most uncomfortable track that I drove a next gen car in. Oh. Just with where that the bumps are, the way that you go through the corners, the way that the car unloads when it finally decides to rotate in the middle of the corner. It's the most uncomfortable the Cup drivers will be all year inside the race car, and you have to do that for a long time during that race. So it's by far the most uncomfortable you'll be.
Speaking of discomfort, Kevin brought this up, the fact that a number of drivers did not seem up to
I didn't bring it up.
Well, you mentioned the tweet, which I hadn't seen it yet, from Brad Keselowski observing drivers after the race, saying that they were still recovering from Mexico. It's crazy.
And I think situations like that. Look, there were some things, and you see Brad's tweet right here about driver intros. Most all of the drivers are still sick and dehydrated from last week, and I think that there are probably some guys that took better care of themselves, and the dehydration piece of it is really on them. If you're still dehydrated from last week, you should have had a better plan with everything that you have going on. I think that you see some of them take better care of themselves than others. And, I know that there were definitely some people that got sick in Mexico, but I don't think that's anything abnormal. Yeah. But the dehydration piece of it is definitely, that's on them.
Mm-hmm. Also, I think that was in response to a Blaney tweet, and ultimately his cool suit shut off on lap 15.
Right.
That's how everybody is going to look if your cool suit shuts off.
Yeah.
Before halfway.
It's miserable.
It's not fun. You're baking, because the way that suit works is the water is now stuck in there.
Yeah.
Because it's not cycling and just starts
Scalding.
boiling.
And the only way to really fix it is to come in and drain it.
Right.
And in a race like this, you don't you give up the track position. I mean, you're in big trouble. But even if you drain it, it's still freaking hot. Yeah. Inside the race car. So, I think a lot of times these guys don't get the credit that they deserve, with the things that they deal with inside the race car. But there's a wide variety of how the drivers take care of themselves.
Then it was fun.
And half of them don't do a very good job. So,
well, we'll have to see how everyone fares out in Atlanta. It's going to be hot. It's going to be exciting. It's a Saturday night show. We look forward to seeing you and your new role.
Oh, I'm excited.
And whatever you're doing.
We're going to be
TBD.
We're
going to be here.
I can't wait to see what you're doing.
Listen, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just be ready to bring some smiles, because you're going to enjoy
He's already hydrating for his weekend out
I am.
in Atlanta.
I am
Go
hydrating.
ahead. It is time for sips, everybody.
Oh, really? I like how you've added that slurpy, slipping sound effect. I'd slap my kids if that was
Welcome to your favorite
kind of one of your kids.
segment of the show, Mamba's Social Sips. And before I get started this week, Tyler, don't yell at me. I got to ask Kevin, there's something about blocking. You and Piper, you told me to bring this story up. Piper was...
Oh, so yeah, we were at the go-kart track.
Yeah,
and
hang on.
Piper's been going out on the go-kart track, on the big track now with we got our faster carts, so she can go out with all the big kids and run during the normal sessions. So first time out on the racetrack, there's a pack of Briggs that are all grouped up drafting, and her cart, it goes pretty fast down the straightaway because she's so light. And and these guys get on the inside of Piper to pass her. She runs them all the way to the grass. And these guys are in the grass, mad, pissed off, coming in the pits, pointing at her. And
Really?
she's just,
Oh, wow.
she's just head down. And she comes in and we're like, Piper, you can't do that. She's like, there's nobody passing me. I'm here to win. And I was like, no. That's not, this is practice.
No.
She's like, no, Dad. They're not passing me. I said, yes, they are. You go straight down the straightaway. We can't run people in the grass in practice. So, yeah, we got a little fireball on our hands.
Oh, boy.
She got her bandolero this week.
She did get that. She told me about that. Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah, we got to find somewhere to practice.
Find some parking lot somewhere.
That competitive spirit runs deep in the Harvick.
Yeah.
Oh, this one's brutal.
You might be in trouble over there, my friend. All right. So this week, Pikes Peak has been running this past week, and which is a super cool event. I've never been there, but I've just seen a lot of video. And now that we have social media, you see a lot more. My guy, Larry Chen, who is a world-renowned motorsports photographer, got this sick picture of J.R. Hildebrand's. It's a Pontiac of Kyle Petty's, the 44 Hot Wheels car, ripping up through Pikes Peak. That thing looks so cool. The pictures are phenomenal. Shout out to Larry for just crushing it like always. And Kyle Petty was pretty stoked about it too. I always liked the Hot Wheels car.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good-looking car. Great brand. And there's something about that Pontiac.
There's something about the Pontiac.
The Pontiac had a cool spoiler. It had the characteristics of the body, the features of the body are just really neat.
Yeah.
It was ahead of its time.
It was.
Kyle Petty saying, I've ridden my motorcycle here many times, but not a race car.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. So shout out to JR. Hope you had a good time out there. Cole Swindell released a new song and called it Dale Jr. And basically the song is about meeting Dale backstage, having a conversation about their dads and what they did, and like they're really just connected over it. Dale has been over the moon about it.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool. Have you ever been in a music video?
I have been in a music video. Yeah, with Jake Owen.
Oh, Jake Owen.
Yes.
Okay.
I can't remember the name of the song because you just asked me. But
yeah, of course.
Yeah, I stood in the back of the truck and sprayed some champagne. My dance moves aren't very good, but you informed me this weekend that I had my own song.
Kevin does have his own song.
It is not for your kids. And I had no idea that I had my own song.
Is that allowed to use your name and likeness if you didn't even know about it? I'm not
sure, but my man here informed me that I had a song.
Who's the artist?
I'd have to look.
It was like, it's rap, right? Hip-hop or something?
Yeah, I don't remember. It's a rap song. I don't remember the artist. But I do like the song.
It's a very vulgar rap song.
The tune to it, the beat to it is fire. Yeah. And now Kevin's officially invited to the cookouts because he has a rap song about him.
Yeah, it was not what I was expecting.
So
it's very vulgar.
Delana was like, you got to warn his sister before he just sends something over. I said, why? Was Keelan with? You have to. I'll send you the link.
You should just listen
to it. Yeah, it's pretty good.
I'll take a listen.
But yeah. And now we also got a voicemail this week.
Oh boy,
excellent.
I like this one. Run it.
Hi, I was calling to see if you could explain how drivers can be so different on the same team. HMS has Larson and Byron who are just dominating with Elliott and Bowman, but you can barely even see them. Joe Gibbs has Hamlin and Bell, and the other two are just never in the picture. So I'm wondering if you could explain how it could be so different and how they're not all on the same page.
It's super easy. It's a lot of. Well, I guess it's not that
super easy.
It's a lot super easy to explain. It's a lot of things. I would tell you that a lot of that is just chemistry, getting to know. Well, you heard Chase Briscoe talk about it on Victory Lap. Just them getting to know him and his driving characteristics of what they needed in the car, and having just a general setup and general routine that is going to work for all four drivers. Never going to happen. I've been on the same team as Chase Briscoe. He's not driving my cars. Like, we're not driving the same setups. He wants things that in his car that are different. That comes with the way that you turn the wheel, the way that you use the brake, the way that you use the throttle, the way that you, just everything that you do as a driver is different from driver to driver. And, the one guy that was probably as close to me as possible through the years was Clint Boyer. And I think that's just because he didn't want to do as much work. He just wanted to get in there and get in there and drive. But I think that knowing the differences that my car and Chase Briscoe's car had in them, it was a lot, and it was a different approach. And once the team is on the same page to say, okay, he can't drive Denny Hamlin's setup. He's going to have to go down this path because of X. And whether that's the entry, the middle, the braking, whatever that is, you have to start with those scenarios and start to develop a setup for him. And then you have to develop his post-race sim grip levels and the way that he thinks that those things need to be for the way that his race ended and the things that he felt, because there's just no two drivers that feel the same. But it's really about that team buying in to say, okay, you're going to need this in order to drive this car fast. So we're going to have to change the aero balance, or we're going to have to change, our theories on setups, and then being able to put those things into play and have that belief in the driver. So that's a great question, because it might be a car that you can go buy all the same parts from somewhere, but you've got just millions of things that you can do on the setup side that are different to cater to that driver.
It's not a one size fits all here.
That's right.
Okay.
No, long story short, you need the team buy-in that they're believing in you and what you're saying, so they can give you what you need. So,
good question.
Yeah, no, I like that question. And if you want to leave some more questions, do it at 805-317-4175, or you can just yell at us about Carson Hocevar some more, because that's what a lot of them were this week. And if you want to leave a mailbag, it's harvickhappyhour4@gmail.com. Thank you so much. That is Mamba Sips for the week.
There you go. Good job, Mamba.
Got it done.
Your hard work is done for the day. You can go get a facial
Such a glow.
again.
Yeah. I look good today.
He does. You have this aura. This must be your network TV prep time.
I did this for you.
Oh,
and for
for
Kevin.
me.
This is for the. I could have done this on Wednesday. I did this today for this show.
That's a big risk.
What do you mean?
Yeah,
well, I mean, it could have gone wrong.
Well,
we got good makeup people, so they would have fixed it up.
Okay. Well, there's the sips. Time now for our last call here on Happy Hour.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. New customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gambling resources, see dkng.co/audio. NASCAR is not responsible for this promotion and used under license.
Before we get into our picks for the week, let's take a look at the best bet of the weekend, courtesy of DraftKings.
Well, the best bet of the weekend this week was Chase Briscoe. He
my God, 25
plus 2,500. This is the kind of money you can win on DraftKings.
You should have bet.
I mean, that was a big win. So Chase Briscoe plus 2,500. So there's going to be some of those possibilities this week as we go to Atlanta that you could score big, like I'm sure somebody did with Chase Briscoe this week. So take the checkered flag with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code Harvick. That's code Harvick for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
There you go. Has to put that crown on
Crown
every
is
week.
definitely mine.
The guy putting the crown on after the tricky triangle was Chase Briscoe, and word on the street is the guys were impressed with the burnout, right?
It's about time we had a better burnout. This one had stuff flying out of the back tires. You're going to see stuff smoking on the ground as it flies out of the back of this car, doing donuts, shifting gears, doing all the things that it takes to have a good burnout.
Love it.
So look at all that.
Yeah.
I would assume that's chunks of the tires flying out. But I love the fact that it's sitting on the ground smoking. So this could have been number one, but he was going to have to catch the car on fire.
Yeah, basically.
That's the edicts,
we've got to catch the car on fire and just get out and walk through the flames.
So if he would have had,
in the
rubber, if the rubber would have caught on fire, would you have put it to the number one?
You need the mud flaps for him to catch on fire. Like that. Fair. So, but very good, Chase Briscoe. I think I'd put him probably up in right behind Chase Elliott.
P2.
I think that's a P2 right there.
That's like a 9. That's like a 9.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I like it.
A lot of smoke and
flat tires at the end.
Yeah, if you notice, like a lot of guys can't get them to straight line smoke like that.
Yeah, so
he got
I hear all this talk about dialing the brake in. I never touched the brake knob or anything in my cars. You got to start in second gear.
Okay.
And you got to start with high RPM and a clutch. You don't need third gear. You don't need first gear. Just put the car in second gear and blow the tires off the thing.
There you go. Burnout lessons with Kevin.
Yes.
Everyone take
If you want to go straight, as soon as the tires start spinning, just back off the throttle pedal a little bit, modulate the pedals.
Modulate, I love that word.
So that the tires spin appropriately, and if you lose control, then just start doing donuts.
We should, maybe next year we should do, in the off season, we should do a burnout.
Where everyone
lesson.
Attempts one?
Clinic.
Because this would be
I'm
humorous
gonna
for me.
Burnout school. I'm gonna sit behind the wall if Kaitlyn's driving in burnout school.
It's dangerous.
Dangerous.
We're gonna need full armor for her as well.
Yeah, I'm sure
for her to wear. I just thought of
well.
something as I was sitting here.
God.
When I was like 12, we used to go on the trips, and I used to take all the rental cars, and as we, they used to have those big. They used to have the big e-brakes, the hand brakes that used to be in the center consoles of the car. And those are the ones that you always wanted to rent. So when my dad was driving, I would just sit over there in the passenger seat and I'd pull that e-brake and we'd skid the tires and the tires would be, but when we would go and it would rain or you'd go somewhere, if you would put that car in reverse and you'd hold that e-brake on with a front wheel drive car, it was like a machine gun. And you could spray mud out of that thing like it was no tomorrow. And one year we were at Tucson, and I used to go to the parking lot first, especially when it was muddy. And I'd get the car positioned with somebody that we'd want to get, and our crew guys were in the car, and they rolled down the window. I said, "Hey, roll down your window." Roll down your window. And I floored this thing, and it sprayed perfect in the window. And all the crew guys were like my dad's friends, or older people from the racetrack that helped us on the car. And they were so pissed. And we doused those guys so bad.
It's amazing that your kids are nice.
Yeah.
As they get older, they might start to do more things like this. You never know.
Keelan is about to turn 13. So.
Just remember that front wheel drive, put that handbrake on.
Love that.
Put it in reverse. Thing will spray some mud.
Speaking of going in reverse, I hate to bring us to this part of the show, but it is the point standings where I am officially now in last.
Congratulations.
By 1 point, I had chosen Ryan Blaney, who at least he had a good showing.
We all scored points this week.
No, you did not. You did not score points this week.
Well, how did I go to 80?
Okay, so here, I'm going to remind everybody of how this works. You get 10 points for the winner, 6 points for P2 through P5, 3 points for P6 through 10. That's how these numbers have been populated.
Right, but didn't he pick Byron?
I did.
No, he picked Larson.
Oh, he picked Larson.
That's right. I kept saying Byron.
I thought
I picked Byron too.
See,
it was Larson.
By the time I go from Monday to Sunday, I forgot who I picked.
At least you got the same team, but it was
so
Larson.
I picked Larson. Okay. So yeah, he got me some points.
Okay,
so he's at 80
too.
Yeah,
but
46,
you know what?
45.
We're all most excited about who's in P2 now. Let's be honest.
She's not.
It's not her. It's me.
Yeah, it's not me.
Yeah, you're most excited.
No, we are.
I would much
me in
rather,
America.
America wants you to finish last too.
No, just you.
Oh,
no, she wants you to finish last.
Well, this is you too. Tyler doesn't want me to finish last. Tyler's on my team.
Oh, so he wants me to finish last? What
I'm saying.
Is going on here?
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
He's saying, whoa.
He
made that
our
up,
producers are on Team Mamba, whether they tell you guys or not.
Okay, well, winner picks first.
We both know who's in charge of this show, and that's her.
You get to pick first as the,
Oh, I get to pick
winner.
first?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to Atlanta, super speedway type racetrack. My brain really wants to pick Ryan Blaney. My heart is telling me Ryan Preece because they're in that situation, but I'm going with Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
I have that written down. I swear, right here. What does that say?
It says Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Yep. So I guess
she started writing all these
same.
Other things. I'm like,
I know I have Preece.
I'm going with Ricky because they got to. Like this, he has. I think for them, they have 2 races that they can get it done, and it's this one in Daytona. Their eggs are in these baskets.
It's a sentimental pick for me as well, with all the shenanigans that have gone on. I'd really like to see Ricky do well and win a race, and I think
you're going to pick the same pick.
Well, yeah, I had it written down already. I can't change it now.
Why, you don't know anybody else in the field?
Kevin, do you see the work I put into this show? Yeah, I don't know anybody else in the field.
You could have just aborted. You could have aborted right there. You know everything that's going on. You don't have to pick the same as him.
I really just want Ricky to win.
How are you going to pass him if you pick the same as him?
This is true.
You got to change your pick. I'm helping you.
Okay, well, my backup was Logano.
Otherwise, you're going to be in last again next week.
My other one's Logano. So
okay,
can
there
we
you
all
go.
agree on this?
Yeah.
Okay, who
Logano.
you got then?
See? I want you to be in last that bad.
Is If Ricky wins, I'm going to be, this is just going to be unfortunate.
If you pick the same as him, you're not gaining any ground. Even if you win, so you're still going to be in last.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. So okay, go ahead, Kevin, your turn.
OG.
Who what?
Who are you picking? OG, you.
I'm going to pick Brad Keselowski.
Okay, cool. I like that one. We all are very diverse group of selections here. Once I
think he knows.
mine.
He's got 2 chances.
Yep.
What?
It's an interesting pick. So
this is going to be a whole thing now that he's gaining on you.
Okay.
This is a whole thing.
I hope you finish last. That's my only goal.
The thing is if
not your driver, you. I want your driver to have. I want your driver to have.
You.
I want your driver to have success, but I want you to finish last.
Good luck this weekend because my driver's your guy.
Your driver.
So yeah.
That makes things a little dicey. All right, so we will have to see how it all unfolds in Atlanta. And now this Thursday before Atlanta, we have a new episode with Kevin and Daniel Suarez, and you're excited about this one.
I've already done the interview, so I can't wait for everybody to hear it on Thursday. And Daniel's just got an incredible story, and I think that when we went to Mexico City, I think he just became a bigger star. I think that when we went to Mexico City and you saw all these different brands jump on board in the promotion, and he carried the event. And I think that leaving Mexico, winning on Saturday, more people knew Daniel's name, and we had a great conversation about everything Mexico, him personally. And I think that hearing his first few car stories was pretty entertaining as well.
Oh, yeah. The question you ask each guest. It sounds like he was very honest.
He was.
Look forward to
very
that.
honest and very open. Sat in a chair, took the time to come to the studio, and it always goes better.
It's always way better when you're in person.
Yeah, we appreciate those who come in and join us here in studio. And we appreciate all the closers. Keep subscribing on YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. Leave a review, leave 5 stars. We will see all of you after Atlanta this weekend.